So in story, you're pointing at one person at a time, and they're continuing to tell the same story. Well, there's some other things you can do in that same device. If the story is getting a little boring, isn't developing well, first of all, go work on your story skills. But second of all, to repair that on the fly in that show right in that moment, you could kind of change it. And when they get down to the last 4 or the last few, you could change, I'd suggest the last 4 perhaps, you could change it to a different challenge and call it the finals or something. And a game that I like to do that with is instruction manual. Sometimes we'll even start the game as instruction manual because it's so much fun. And then instead of having to maintain the same thing all the way through 8 eliminations or something like you do in story or head-to-head story or elimination story or directed story, this other first model of game we were talking about, you can actually change what the instruction manual is about. So the best instruction manuals done in this type of game are the things that don't need an instruction manual, and that's a great way to ask for the idea from your audience. You say, what is something that you use that should not need an instruction manual? You might get things like screwdriver, pencil, air, breathing. There's no telling, but those would all make for very good instruction manuals. So then the same game is played the same way, where you have the host directing it and they're going to point at one person and that person will start. People continually have to finish what the previous person was saying and lead continually into the next thing and stop abruptly when the finger is pulled away from them. The next person picks up abruptly where that was, but the subject matter, instead of being a story, becomes instruction manual.